Dark and Stormy is a Gosling black rum drink, but it's also descriptive of the threatening skies that loomed overhead when they announced the start of the Billfish Classic Boat Parade for the Mississippi Billfish Classic Billfish Tournament. The Mississippi Billfish Classic Tournament is one of a series which are fished each year in the Northern Gulf. We fish it a couple times, and I can tell you it's always fun. The tournament kicks off with a boat parade. The boats queue up and then form a line which runs down the channel in Biloxi past crowds of spectators before throttling up and racing offshore. Bobby Carter is the Mississippi Billfish Classic Tournament Director, and he's here to tell us a little bit more about it.
We just finished our 20th year. You know, it's hard to believe it. I've been fishing on the Mississippi Gulf Coast for the past 20 years for blue marlin, which is incredible. Matter of fact, the tournament has become probably one of the top 5 in the world as far as payout and purses. Our main objective is really to bring awareness to the fishing in the Northern Gulf. You know, what all we have to offer. You know, besides casinos and golf courses, we also have the water and an incredible fishery out here. I mean, not only blue marlin, but tuna, dolphin, wahoo, cobia, red snapper, you name it. The oil rigs are abundant, you know, full of sea life out there. After Katrina, it kind of dipped down, and also the oil spill had dipped down. But, you know, one of the things about us living here on the Gulf Coast, you know, we're not victims of any disaster. We're, you know, survivors of it. If you look around, you see more restaurants being built, more hotels, casinos are coming on board. The word is getting out about the fishery we have here, and I think it's a great thing for people to come up here and enjoy.
Mississippi offers many great opportunities and locations for your next trip, but one place in particular offers you something truly special. A trip to the Mississippi Barrier Islands is like visiting another world, a world of natural wilderness, undisturbed peace, and vibrant beauty. The islands have rich and interesting heritages reaching back centuries. Visit the Civil War era Fort Massachusetts and see the view from the top. The magnificent wilderness, beauty, and wildlife make the Mississippi Barrier Islands a great year-round destination for boaters, fishermen, and nature enthusiasts, and offer unique destinations for campers, hikers, and kayakers. And the islands provide plenty of great fishing for redfish and many other species like speckled trout and flounder. The Mississippi Barrier Islands. Come see for yourself. Visit Mississippi.
One of the toughest things about this tournament is the same as with any sort of fishing, deciding where to fish. Captain Eric Gill does a great job of studying the weather conditions, and for this trip, we decided to run nearly 100 miles south, hoping to find a current rip, which we had spotted on satellite imagery. Fishing in the Northern Gulf is exceptional, but oftentimes requires running a long way, up to 200 miles offshore in some cases, like when we fish Green Canyon. This means we generally spend at least one night offshore. So on this trip, we were fishing aboard my 56-foot Viking sportfish named Vixen. Just as expected, we found the rip, but continued a few miles farther to a rig where we had reports of a big blue being sighted. After trolling around the rig for a while with no luck raising the blue, we headed back to work the rip. We had lots of action catching wahoo and mai. All of us had a turn. Most of the wahoo and dolphin weighed under the 20-pound minimum to be entered. We generally refer to the small wahoos as weehoos. So things were slow. That is, until we had a knockdown and one of the reels began to scream. We had a billfish on. Seconds later, Keith Williams was in the chair hooked up with his first white marlin. In this tournament, if you catch a marlin over 100 inches in length, you can keep it and enter the fish for the big prize money. But all smaller billfish are released. Within minutes, he headed alongside the boat where Stephen Coolgis and Randall Tynes wired and released it. The way you established that you caught a fish was by holding a copy of the tournament program in the same video as the billfish you intend to release. Some tournaments want you to include a shot of the GPS with the time, and of course it's always important to remember to call in the hookup to one of the committee boats. This way, if there's a tie, the earliest catch wins. One of the things that you have to do when you have a fish on is clear the cockpit, and that means getting all the reels out of the way as well as the safety lines to make certain that the mate has full run of the cockpit. I fought the fish to the boat where we could see it was just a white marlin. Our team scrambled to get the necessary video footage with the daily tournament designator required to validate the video, and we released our second white marlin. Even though Stephen makes it look easy, wiring any billfish can be a dangerous proposition. The smaller fish like this white marlin have been known to leap into the boat and impale the wireman. With the larger fish, the danger is the wireman can have the line become entangled on their hand and get jerked overboard. Even though we were hoping for a blue marlin, the white marlin still points, and we were pretty happy. Not a bad day, I thought. We trolled down the rip until dark and then slowly headed for another rig a short distance away to position ourselves for the morning tuna bite. One of the things I enjoy most about fishing offshore is spending the night drifting. As I stood watch on Vixen's Bridge in the wee hours of the morning, a soft breeze gently rocked the boat. Morning broke on a gorgeous second day as we trolled around the rig. It quickly became clear that nothing was happening, so we returned to fishing the rip. By the end of the day, we had a fish box loaded with wahoo, tuna, and dolphin, including a 25-pound one that John Carter had caught.
Well, maybe not.
Good job, John.
Though nothing remarkable happened for most of the rest of the day, we were able to relax and just enjoy being in blue water. So as the sun set, we had some fish in the box, had released a couple of white marlin, and had lots of hope for the following day. The next day we were back to catching lots of small wahoo and dolphin, but the marlin just weren't cooperating. Sometimes the conditions are perfect, the water is clear, and the fish just don't cooperate. I can't tell you how many times I've been out bill fishing and thought we had the winning fish on, only to have it either pull off or turn up to be something else we didn't expect. But at least catching these small fish keeps the adrenaline flowing. I've been out and fished for 2 days and caught one blackfin tuna during the whole time. This is better than that, I promise. We ended the day with more fish in the box, but nothing remarkable. On the final day, however, things changed. Morning broke on the third day, bringing weather every bit as dark and stormy as the first day. The previous day's forecast, calling for 20-knot winds and 7-foot seas, was right on target. On the third day, dark and stormy had found us again, and I have to say, it matched our moods over not having found any blue marlin. One thing about being a blue water angler is we just don't give up. Even though the weather had dampened our spirits, we were still hopeful that blue marlin would finally find us. Frank jumped into Vixen's fighting chair to battle his first billfish, and it was a monster. The fish quickly took over 500 yards of line before reversing course to jump near the boat, as Frank furiously reeled. The fish then went deep and we settled in for a long fight, or so we thought. We figured that we were about to be in the money, but then disaster struck. The line went slack. The fish had pulled the hooks. Nothing is quite as heartbreaking as losing, through no fault of your own, what we believe to be a tournament-winning fish. Sometimes it happens. You're doing everything right, and the hook just comes out. We were all heartbroken. Especially Frank Bertucci, who took it so hard it spoiled the dose of heckling we were prepared to dish out. But hey, it's fishing. The last time we fished it, we caught a 450 and a 650-pound blue marlin a week later. They would have been worth a pile of money had it happened during the tournament. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. We knew this is where the fish were. Unfortunately, we weren't the only ones. We'd been fishing for about an hour when a boat called the Pipe Dream pulled up alongside the rig where we were fishing. They'd been having even worse luck than us. They jigged for a small blackfin tuna, bridled it up, and began live baiting while we continued trolling around the rig. In minutes, they were hooked up with what proved to be the largest billfish caught in the tournament, a 439-pound blue marlin. As if to add insult to injury, the fish greyhounded within 100 yards of our boat as if it was thumbing its bill at us. I'm guessing the rest of the crew was thinking the same thing I was. Hey, we've been working this rig for a couple of hours. You Texas guys stole our fish. Still feeling the adrenaline rush, we resumed trolling, and the sudden sound of a reel screaming got our attention as Frank Bertucci was back in the chair looking for revenge. We just knew we finally had our blue. But as we watched with eager anticipation, we saw that what we had was a 100-pound mako shark. The last thing we wanted was a shark. It was just a rotten break. Great tournament, great rip, great team, good weather, and bad. We felt proud that out of 52 boats catching 19 marlin, we caught 2. But for us, it was also frustrating to have missed the big blue. I guess that's why they call it fishing.
One of the best reasons to visit Mississippi is its abundance of offshore treasures. Pods of dolphins playing offshore or cruising along with the boat are sure to thrill both the young and the old. There's fishing for red snapper, amberjack, sharks, tuna, mahi-mahi, wahoo, and even catch and release fishing for billfish. The spear fishing is unsurpassed when diving the offshore wrecks and oil rigs. But there's so very much more. It's sure to be the perfect vacation for the entire family. Come see for yourself. Visit Mississippi.